visa policy works on the principle of reciprocity. So routinely we evaluate our position and see whether the the visa policy being directed towards us is one that is being reciprocated or not, and then we make adjustments accordingly. Interference is a systemic problem we have in Nigeria. The lead for foreign policy implementation is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Over the years, and this is well before this administration came into office, there had been an encroachment on the functions of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. There had been securitization of a lot of issues that could otherwise be resolved through diplomacy, through foreign policy implementation. Because in international relations, when we talk about securitization, it is essentially turning minor challenges or routine issues into existential problems. And when an issue is considered to be existential, then it becomes a security issue, national security issue, and then it takes on a short-termist approach, trying to resolve it as quickly as possible. And it's easier to throw money at something that is a security issue, that is an existential issue. But in the long run, that does not necessarily serve the best interest of the country, because then you end up wasting much more. So here in Nigeria, we've had this tendency to securitize everything. So you find that certain roles are taken away from foreign affairs. For instance, I'll give you an example. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs is supposed to be part of the National Security Council, as stated in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Section 25 lists the members of the National Security Council. You never see a National Security Council meeting where the foreign minister is invited to participate. So these are things that we're getting a lot of support from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We're rolling back a lot of these anomalies, and that's why you see Nigeria's foreign policy becoming more effective. Well, to begin with, the National Security Council has to even be convened on a regular basis for us to be invited, for us to participate. So these are things, like I said, thankfully the president is sympathetic to, he has a listening ear, and we're getting the support. And you see, when you're trying to bring about change, which is what this government is trying to do, you also have to pick your battles. It's incrementalism sometimes is more effective than just insisting that everything has to be your way, because there will be pushback. So I would say principle and proximity. Principle, of course, we subscribe to certain values and ideals. We are a democratic nation. We have elections every 4 years. As a matter of fact, Nigeria is the only African country with 5 former heads of state living peacefully within our borders. Only recently, up until recently, it was 6 until the passing away of late President Muhammadu Buhari. So that speaks a lot. And in terms of proximity, we can never leave this neighborhood. For as long as these countries exist, They are our neighbors, and we share certain ties and certain affinity to each other. And in terms of the security of the region, we have to work with each other. So when it comes to outbreaks of virus, when it comes to border issues, when it comes to cross-border trade, it will impact on us collectively. So that is why we, even though these countries have left ECOWAS, we still continue to relate with them and to collaborate with them on different platforms. I'll give you an example. There's GIABA. GIABA is the ECOWAS agency that works with the Financial Action Task Force. Even though they've left ECOWAS, it is not in the interest of the AES countries to leave GIABA. So they're talking to ECOWAS, looking for a way for ECOWAS to accommodate them. Because the moment they leave, then there is every likelihood that they would be blacklisted. And when you're blacklisted by the Financial Action Task Force, you know what that means. That means, it's almost like a total shutdown in terms of financial activity. So there are things like that. For us, security, the multinational joint task force, Nigeria, Niger, Cameroon, Chad, members, and Republic of Benin. It is our interest to continue to work with Niger, for instance, as a member of the multinational joint task force, because it's been proven historically time and again that the most effective way to tackle insecurity in that complex cross-border area around the Lake Chad is to establish the right of pursuit, so that when you're in hot pursuit, you can go into your neighbor's territory and they will also give you support, and vice versa. So these things link us inextricably. So we will continue to work with each other. And we also have certain organs like the Nigerian-Niger Joint Commission. It's a one of a kind. It's the only one we have, and it's with Niger, and it's the only one they have. And there, the way to address issues has always been micro diplomacy, and it's effective, it's useful. They agree it's useful, we agree it's useful, and it continues to function. Like I said, it's not even a matter of choice. Picture, if you will, your neighbor where you live. So if a thief breaks into your house, God forbid, and you chase him, is he not likely to jump over the fence? If he jumps over the fence, is he not likely to go into your neighbor's house? If you've stolen something, is he not taking it and jumping into your neighbor's house? And clearly, it's not in your neighbor's interest to allow the thief, simply because he stole in your house, to make off with whatever he's taken, because he could equally steal from him as well. And if he damages anything in the pursuit and everything, it's going to affect you. Or if a thief comes to a neighborhood and he's trying to make away with a transformer, it affects all the neighbors. So these are the sort of things that, like I said, link us inextricably, whether we like it or not, and we continue to work on different fronts. I was in Niger not long ago. We continue to talk with the officials in Mali and Burkina Faso, but what is clear is that they have left ECOWAS, and there's no use crying over spilt milk. We're confident that at some point they will return. This is just it's a transient occurrence, and you have to look at the longer term existence of nations. Nations tend to exist for much longer periods of time. So maybe the world we live in today, the need for immediate satiation when it comes to the speed of social media, we've forgotten that we've had fools and there have been regimes, and they come, and after some time, there's a change in regime, or there's a return to civil rule, because even the military will tell you that they are not trained, they're not designed to deal with mundane issues of outbreaks, of sewage systems, complex conurbations and infrastructure. No, that's not their training. So it's only a matter of time. That's why most military regimes will tell you that it's a transition, and they will transit. And when they do, we're confident that they will return, because the way Africa itself is structured, is designed with the principles of complementarity and subsidiarity, with the African Union, and then you have the 5 regional economic communities and other regional mechanisms. Even representation when it comes to elections, to global bodies, to continental bodies. It is the RECs, it is the ECOWAS, the ECAS, the SADCs that are recognized, not other groupings. We subscribe, of course, to the Ezulini Consensus and the CERT Declaration. 2 permanent seats for Africa, for the continent, and Nigeria would relish to be one of the countries to occupy one of those seats, and then additional seats also for Africa, non-permanent seats. And as a matter of fact, it was owing to some of the exertions of Nigeria, of President Tinubu, of this ministry, that on the eve of the last United Nations General Assembly, if you notice, the United States actually announced that they are in support of Africa getting permanent representation in the UN Security Council. So it's just a matter of time to get the process going, so that the gauntlet has been thrown. It is now up to Africa to decide who they want to represent them. And this is where we're having some challenges, because some of the smaller countries are saying there should be a seat, that the seats, the representation should be rotational, not any country holding a permanent position. But that's neither here nor there, because it comes back to what we have at the moment, where you have 5 permanent members, and then you have 10 seats that rotate among other countries. Even now, Africa has rotational seats, so what's the point then if they're pushing for that? So Nigeria is not in support of that. We're saying, based on the fact that we represent the continent, we represent it well, we were strong advocates and worked diligently to free Africa from the yoke of racist regimes. Okay, if you talk about Mozambique, South Africa, Namibia, Angola, Guinea-Bissau, we championed that. We made huge sacrifices to see that to fruition. And the fact that we are also the largest country in Africa, the most populous, we're going to be the 3rd most populous nation in the world. If truly the United Nations is representative of the people on the planet, how can you not have the 3rd most populous country? And this is just in 25 years representing, and even without even being the 3rd most populous, we're already the largest country. We've always been. So how does it make sense? And on top of that, we are the only country on the continent with a near permanent status in the Peace and Security Council of the African Union. So it's a natural progression. And the reason why we keep returning to the Peace and Security Council is because the other African countries commend the good work that we're doing in the Peace and Security Council, and they know, and they firmly believe and support the fact that our decisions, our positions are based on moral precepts and ethical considerations. There's a change in the global distribution of power, and this is something fundamental in IR. When there's a change in the distribution of power, you find that there's a change in the system. So what we have, for all intents and purposes at the moment, is a multipolar system. So, and that multipolarity requires that countries adjust accordingly. And thankfully, Nigeria has never been a country that has attached itself to other countries based on ideology, whether it is East or West or capitalist or communist. No, we've been pragmatic, and so what we have now in the 21st century is, under President Tinubu, is strategic autonomy. And again, it is engagement based on Nigeria's interest, its national interest, so that we can work with as many countries as possible. So we have that leverage, we have that latitude, and Nigeria, again, thankfully, has the size, it has the scale, it has the girth to be able to stand on its own and engage with others. So it's very important, because that way you are in a position to work with whoever you want. There's some countries, unfortunately, cannot afford that because of their size. Maybe they're small, because of maybe their even location, their geographical location. They're close to certain hegemons within a particular pole, and they would have to maybe yield. But we don't find ourselves in that position, that situation. So we deal with all comers, and it's working well. Well, visa policy works on the principle of reciprocity. So routinely we evaluate our position and see whether the visa policy being directed towards us is one that is being reciprocated or not, and then we make adjustments accordingly. We're working, of course, on this with the Ministry of Interior in particular, because visa issuance is under the purview of the Nigeria Immigration Service, as you know, but of course it touches heavily on foreign policy and foreign policy implementation. So it's something that we're evaluating, we're looking at it, and we will act accordingly. But the name of the game is reciprocity. Like I said, if you align yourself with a particular pole or hegemon wholeheartedly, then it may not necessarily be in your national interest, because you have to abide by their own needs. So it may be in their own national interest, but it may be inimical to your own national interest. So it doesn't make sense for a country like Nigeria to align in that manner. So it should be partnership with a purpose. We can engage with countries based on issues where we have a common interest, and there will be other countries also where we share the same common interest that might not be on the same page with country A, And we feel that it is Nigeria's right, it is in its best interest to be able to align with others. We cannot be constricted, we cannot be confined to just one country or two countries, or no. There should be more, especially when you're talking about 230 million people, because we are a reflection of the Nigerian citizenry. So we have 230 million people. You can see where there is so much interest. Some people are going, some people are traders in India, some are going to China, okay? Some are dealing with the US, some are dealing with Brazil, some are dealing with Europe. And then we say, no, we're not going to, allow Nigerians that opportunity. We're just going to stick to one country simply because of what would be the reason? We have to avoid cumbersome entanglements that do not serve the interests of Nigeria and Nigerians. Each administration has to deal with the prevailing circumstances that defines itself. When President Tinubu was sworn in, if you remember, one of the first things he did was to remove subsidy because he wanted to focus on subsidizing production instead of subsidizing consumption. And he embarked on macroeconomic reforms, narrowed down the foreign exchange windows to one, just stabilized that, and ensured that there was no external borrowing and all of that. So it's something that has been taking time to implement, and we here also have been carrying out quite a number of reforms. We're looking at the missions and how to provide for adequate funding of the missions. We have 109 missions, so it's a lot of work, and some of them have not over the years been in a pristine condition in terms of the assets themselves. So we're looking to improve on that, and also some have debts that have to be settled. So it's a matter of priority, but it doesn't mean that those missions are not functioning because there are no accredited ambassadors. No, there are very senior diplomats in many of them that have the experience to continue the work. Yes, we would love to have accredited ambassadors, but it is something that will be done at the right time and when it is best juncture to do it. And I'm confident that Mr. President will do that. It is, but when you have limited funds, now there has been a huge improvement based on the reforms of Mr. President. Now there's a lot, but at the same time, there's also a lot to prioritize. So this is something that, as I said, will come based on the programmatic timetable of the administration and what Mr. President has planned and designed. Only last week, the ministry created, or rather set up an AI unit within the ministry, because we're looking at the future. So this aspect that you spoke about has to do with deep fakes, but it goes beyond that. It's AI as a whole, because it's a whole new field that requires more of Nigeria's attention vis-a-vis diplomacy and international engagement and so forth. And you see, we've seen the adverse effects of the misinformation, disinformation, fake news, deep fakes, and all of that, and how It in this day and age, it can become a threat to a nation. And the challenge here is Nigeria is a democratic nation, and democracy operates on the premise that there is an aggregation of what we agree to be true. So this whole idea of a post-truth era where truth itself is blurred and anything can be passed off as true is actually dangerous to democracy and the way democracy has been working thus far. So it's something that nations need to take very seriously. We also saw what happened with the Binance fiasco, how cryptocurrency can also easily undermine the economy of a nation, where proceeds of criminal activity, ill-gotten funds can be channeled out of the country, taken out of an economy using crypto. So these are things that really we have to be very mindful of, and we are being very mindful of. We're working with quite a number of countries on this, and even here within the the ministry, we actually created a unit even before the AI unit that was countering false narratives, and that was also fact checking on a regular basis, because we saw the usefulness in doing that. And unless we did that, it was just going to blow up and become a major problem for the country. So we will continue to do that.